Bhante?
Namo Buddhaya, Mirando. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you for ringing. Are you free at the minute?
Yes.
Talk?
Yes.
I was wondering, I just started watching your videos, and then I thought, just to have a little chat and just to see how we are doing, and because I'm following the path as well for about 5 years now.
Yes.
And I thought then while I was watching your videos, just to share what I gained and just to discuss. And I was wondering how you.
Hello?
In India, it seems like with the light up there.
Sorry, I missed a bit there. I think you cut off a little.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, I was wondering when I was watching your videos, I was thinking, how is the life like? You're living on your own, and it seems like you kind of got no help or anything around.
Well, no. I mean, I have the support of the Vinaya. This is how a monk, a practicing forest monk, should really live. With the support of the Vinaya, you need nothing else. You've got literally everything written down for you, and instructions for how to live, both in accordance with the path and at a very practical level. So I found, since the very early days of setting out, even pre-Buddhist times, before I was a Buddhist, I practiced living alone in forests and this kind of thing, but I didn't have the support of the Vinaya, so it was a little tricky. But then, having got into Buddhism and read biographies of the great forest masters in the Thai forest traditions in Thailand, and quite envious of their achievements and their style of practice, I wanted to emulate them as much as I can, or as much as I could. And one must look to a teacher as someone you really want to be, not just someone who's clever or seems to know something that you don't. You need to really understand that they have realized something in their practice and you want to be like them. And through this, that took me to Thailand initially for my training, and there I was able to be with great forest practitioners and really continue what I'd started before I was a Buddhist, but more Sila Samadhi Panya orientated. Well, only Sila Samadhi Panya orientated. And there in the forests of Thailand, I was able to sit and concentrate on my practice. The benefits then just come along with it. You've no need to worry about what you're going to eat tomorrow, what you're going to wear, where you're going to sleep. This is not necessary. Or what country you're in. It's not necessary.
Indeed, Bhante. Have you been to Sri Lanka at some point?
No,
or not yet?
No, not yet. No, I haven't.
That's why I was wondering, because I was fascinated to hear when you are explaining anicca dukkha anatta.
Yes.
It's not because the common practice is anitya dukkha anatma. I'm not going to go and start arguing over these words, how they pronounce. But when I hear when you are saying anicca dukkha anatta, I was really fascinated by it, because I've been searching for this for I'm 46 years old, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
And for the last 16 years I've been living in the UK, in York.
York's a beautiful city.
I'm from Sri Lanka. So I was searching for it, but then the Dhamma I heard after, because I born to a Buddhist family, grew up in the Buddhist culture, around the temples, around the monks, from my childhood, but I couldn't see the right thing I was searching for. And then about 5 years ago, I was struck by a monk, and there's a layer of, the chief incumbent now, is not exist anymore. I think he's passed away in 2017.
Uh-huh.
But the teaching he left with the paramita he gained and the reason he born and the discovery he showed us, kind of like an anubuddhu, like his paramita was to born and spread the Buddhism again when it's really low, when it's not available to find, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then he showed us, he just kind of discovered it again when it's not available, for the true people who wanted to attend Nibbana, not just for the puja or not just to improve their the worldly things, the material world, or the way they wanted to live, or not that one, but just purely for the people who wanted to attend Nibbana. He just showed us the kind of insight to what exactly Buddha must have told.
Okay.
So when I applied myself, I thought this is what I've been searching for my samsara, kind of. I was struck by it with those teachings. So the main thing was the anicca dukkha anatta.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was commonly we heard from our childhood, it's anitya dukkha anatma. It says the no self or no, like I got no words to kind of pour in my
Okay,
English
well the
language,
pronunciation aside, because that's irrelevant, the pronunciation commonly in the West would be anicca, dukkha, anatta, and like with Latin, we don't know anybody who lived in Latin times to tell us how to say amoa matamas, so we say amoa matamas, et tu brute, we say this. Who do we know who can speak it in the correct accent? If we're learning French, we can have the correct accent. But I think what you're saying there, in the Pali Canon, which is the same teachings that you use in Sri Lanka, it's the Pali language, and the pronunciation of the Pali language is irrelevant. It's the words that matter. Even the words, to some extent, are our signposts to the meaning. The Pali language is beautiful in that it is appropriate to the subject matter. As soon as you translate it into English, dukkha has to become an entire description and an entire sentence, whereas dukkha, you and I know, however you pronounce it, what it means. And whether you're in Thailand or India or Sri Lanka or Myanmar, it doesn't matter how it's pronounced. We all know what dukkha means. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, the three faculties of existence, are all we need to realize to understand the nature of this life that we're living, and the path leading to that is clearly laid out by the Buddha himself. We don't really need another teacher. We can rely on teachers to help us when we're in difficulty understanding the Buddha's teachings, but they should only refer to the one teacher, the Buddha, and the suttas, which give us clearly what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, indeed. That's where, because I was searching for this as well for a long time. It's in the normal, that's where I just wanted to talk to you as well, the way that you're trying to explain it on the videos, because the things we discovered through that monk, it wasn't his teaching. He just discovered and he just explained it in a practical, like theoretical way. This is what the Buddha said. This is not that. I mean, the common practices or the common way of explaining anicca dukkha anatta or Four Noble Paths or the other things. It wasn't. It's not the real thing. It's on the surface. So that's why I came to a realization. It's a bit different. So so then in that case, I've just seen there were a couple of people like trying to translate what that monk discovered or trying to explain what's this the lokottara meaning to it. That's why I wanted to suggest if Bhante can even listen to these things a little bit, you might see another side of this,
If it's in clear English, but so many teachers I hear from Myanmar, from Sri Lanka, and of course India now. India is very weak in, I mean, Buddhism is very weak in India. Theravada Buddhism is less, there's more Theravada Buddhism in York than there is in India. Well, in the UK for sure, and you've got some very great teachers there. But most often when I listen to Sri Lankan teachers and Myanmar teachers of those traditions, and even Indian teachers of the Dharma, they'll, with every other sentence, quote a whole Pali verse in Pali, and I think that's not helping me. And I don't listen. I switch off because there's no point. It's just showing how much they've managed to learn, because in Sri Lanka you have such a good tradition of learning the suttas and learning the chanting as children from a young age, so you can retain all of that rote knowledge.
That's exactly this.
But the understanding is not rote knowledge, it's understanding. So I always, in my earliest videos, which are very poor, I mean all these videos aren't good because I've only just found this out by mistake and started making them, really, but they're not professional in any stretch of the imagination. But initially I tried not to use any Pali words at all, because I didn't want to just try to sound like I'm a clever monk speaking Pali. But then I did, of course, realise, you know, some words one has to use. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, sila, samadhi, panya are essential understandings which do say so much with so little effort once you get to understand, and everybody needs to understand those principles, if not the literal translation of the words. They need to understand the meanings behind them. Now, sorry, I kind of did interrupting me there, but I wanted to just chat. Yeah, I mean, I don't have time to sit and listen to hours and hours of teachings. If you send me some link to something and it grabs my attention and it's of interest and it's in clear English, not someone trying to teach the Dharma in a different language, I don't think it's good to teachers who teaching the Dharma. Teachings teachers, with the exception of some Europeans who are very, very fluent from an early age in English, but I find the teachings of the Dharma given in a not good English is a mistake. It's poor, it's very bad, it's not good for the Dharma. It just bores people and makes them think this is too complicated for me. You need to have a teacher who speaks your mother. My first teachers would be considered to be from the Ajahn Chah tradition, but I don't listen to Ajahn Chah tapes in Thai, or even translations by Thai monks. My actual teacher in Thailand, his translations, I like to listen to them now, but in the early days I needed to hear the Dharma from an English teacher, so Ajahn Sucitto and Ajahn Sumedho's teachings were far more appropriate to me, because they were from my culture and they grabbed my attention. So I'm afraid I have, it's not an aversion or a bias or a disliking towards Sri Lanka, India or Myanmar monks teaching the Dharma. I just find it does not resonate kindly with my soul. I don't have a soul, but if that explains what I'm trying to say. I just hear someone struggling to get their point across in a difficult language, when they're already having to translate it from the Pali. If you see what I mean. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I was in that position as well until I hear this new findings about the way we need to see that's exactly what I found.
Can you sum up these new findings quickly for me? Sum up
Sorry?
these. Can you sum up these new findings for me quickly?
Again, I'm not good at trying to preach them or expressing it, but I'm also listened and learned quite a lot, and then I came into this path within last 5 years and following it, and I gained jhana, and I went on my path a long way by helping it's all again not Pali words or the sutta. It's just the idea.
Good. It sounds interesting.
Struck me. That was the turning point for my life when I was 14.
About the same age as me.
Old.
I think about the same age as me, maybe around that age, 40. 40 when I first seriously looked into Buddhism.
Now, Bhante.
Yeah, but you've been practicing for 5 years, so I started at 40.
Did you?
Yes. So about the same time as you. Not too late for you.
No, because I'm planning now go back for good. I have a family, but my wife is following the path with me parallel, so there's no problem with it. I have two daughters. One is 16 and one 8 years old. So I'm planning to, because I'm already bought a little place in the middle of the country, and I'm planning to go for good as soon as possible, really.
To Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but I'm here for last 16 years. But once I realized this, the more I realized, there's nothing to gain on this part of the world. And I'm just kind of, I'm in my, I found something basically. That's why I was one of the guys who also a Sri Lankan, but he's kind of fluent in English, better than my English. So he translated that monk's little bit of idea. That's why I wanted to suggest, like, if you have like maybe half an hour or so just to listen to this Anicca Dukkha Anatta explanation.
Yes.
Because that's where it struck on me 5 years ago. This is not the way we learn the Buddhism, or this is not the way we thought Anicca Dukkha Anatta or the Chaturarya Satya or those things. They are not Pali at all. They're just the meaning. They're just we found something unheard before. That's why it struck me 5 years ago. Since then, it's changed everything. Within I don't know, a matter of a week or so, once I was listening to this, it changed. So then I went after another monk who lives in Australia now. He's also a Sri Lankan, but he lives in Australia at the minute. But then he kind of gave me, he's my Kalyana Mitra kind of, he explains everything to me, and then I came back and started following the path, and it's changed quite a lot on me. And then I'm just, next step is for me to follow you, like you, to become a monk. So that's the next step. Like I'm quite a long way gone now.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to share this experience with you, because I can see, because discipline is a big part of me as well in my path to Nibbana. Discipline is because I've seen and I've lived with so many monks from my childhood. I haven't seen that, you, as soon as you talked to me, you said my main motivation is Vinaya. So I'm kind of a person like that as well, because I'm very disciplined myself. I'm trying to discipline myself, and that's where you could actually be in this path. So rather than me explaining what I found, this guy who translated a little bit this Anicca Dukkha Anatta, it's another YouTube channel really, but I don't really see them, or I don't go after them as people or person. I know him because we used to meditate together when one of the Sri Lankan monks who came here to do meditation sessions.
Okay, yes.
But if you could watch half an hour or so.
Yes, send me the link. I will do. I will do. There's no problem at all.
It will be really helpful. And then same time, I'm thinking of going to Sri Lanka soon. But then if you are happy, then, after we get to know each other, I would like to invite you there as well, because the energy is different there.
Yes, I mean, that would be great. I mean,
India.
Every 180 days I have to go somewhere. So I rely on him.
Lovely.
I rely on, no, it's not lovely. I'd rather not have to travel, but it's the visa rules of India. But every 180 days I'm reliant on an invitation somewhere. My next trip is to on the 6th of January, 7th of January, I think, 7th of January to Thailand, back there for a few weeks.
Right.
Then I'll be back here.
Because there are so many links I have, the temples I know, the monks I know, but the only problem is I need to find a monk who can speak English fluently for you, but then I will
Well, do you know, I'm not a talker, as I said to you in my message. I don't usually use the telephone. I don't even speak to my mother on the telephone or any of my family. Send a few emails, a few messages from time to time. My practice is very intense. It may come across light-hearted and casual on YouTube, but that's really not the way it is. That occupies about 20 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe a maximum of an hour of any one day of my time, because there's no editing, there's no planning, there's no thinking about it. And I literally spend 6 to 9 hours a day in meditation. The rest of that time I'm getting together with my requisites, which is my food in the morning and where I'm staying that night. I've just recently moved to the top of this hill because I did have a kuti down in the forest, but the tourism levels have increased here in India, and there's quite a few coming into this town, probably because of the time of year. So they're spreading out further and further. This, where I am, not even the locals come up here. This is about the highest point you can get to in this area.
Whereabout, Bhante, are you now? Whereabout in India?
I'm in a place called Gokarna, which is on the west coast of India, between Kerala and Goa, still in Karnataka, the state of Karnataka, but it's on the west coast.
Karnataka. Okay.
South of Goa, north of Kerala.
I know you, so I will make arrangements. I don't know when, but soon, and then you could see the energy in that soil as well. That's where the Buddha is born and gone, but the history's changed now, so we shouldn't be talking about that. It's not relevant to our path. So, but the energy is immense over there.
Yes, of course.
For meditation and stuff. So I'm glad and very thankful for you to ring me back. And
no, you're welcome.
Send some links, please have a listen. But I'm not arguing or I'm not suggesting. But if you have some time or if you have some mind to it, you might find something useful for your talks as well in the future.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Well, it's very, very good.
I always welcome constructive input. I welcome any criticism, positive or negative, really, because that's the only way I can make this channel, which is not my channel, it's just a channel which happened by mistake, and the only way I can make it useful is for the people listening to it, watching it.
Glad, because we could, I think, go for a long way with the knowledge, your life experience, and your discipline and everything. So many people can make very good use of your talk. So
well,
I wanted to add some.
Yeah, I must add there. It is what you said. It is experience, not knowledge. I have perhaps acquired some knowledge through the experience, but I came to Buddhism quite late in my life. I also decided early in my Buddhist progression that I would ordain, or wanted to ordain. There were some delays for family things to be sorted out, but it was very much my intention in the early stages to ordain, and I thought this was really the only way I could find the quick route for me, with the kilesas, the defilements I'd built up over a lifetime, was to really jump in at the deep end. So by jumping in at the deep end and doing what I did, I've gone about it perhaps the hardest way, but from what I could see, the only way it was going to work for me. And it is now, after a lot of hard work, it is paying fruits in terms of my own personal development, as much as we can say, really. But the point being, whether you choose to, you can very, very easily. There's so much support nowadays. I know you did say in the West there's not so much, but I mean, I find there's so much more support for Buddhism in the West than I have here. My support, teachers-wise, is from Western monks, because they are the ones that can
follow it properly.
Well, not so much that, but they're talking to me in my language, not just the actual language, but in, metaphorically my language. They really are. They sort of it all resonates with me when I hear their talks. And this is how you find a suitable teacher. You need to be comfortable and think, yeah, that makes sense, and that's how I want to be, and that's what I can aspire to. as we do with the Buddha. But of course the Buddha, everybody aspires to that, and then you need someone to help you with the translation and the understanding of what he taught us. So I think there's a great deal of support in the West, but then of course you have in countries like Sri Lanka here and Myanmar, you've got the more cultural backgrounds, but that can be quite a little bit of a distraction because it becomes very much a rites and rituals.
Sri Lankan cultures are corrupted, Bhante. You know,
yes.
it's sad to say it, but I'm not going to detail. But it's corrupted. It's all corrupted. Mainly 99% of temples, the monks. It's not the pure Buddhism, but they won't, let you alone as well, because they're trying to poison you when you have the right Dhamma or the right path.
Right.
It's just so much of, it's sad, but
But I look at results. When I speak to a monk and he's teaching me, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, look, I've said this on a video and you've probably heard it before, but it's one of my little favourite things I like to say. When the student goes to see the rabbi, he doesn't need to listen to the rabbi's teachings. He just needs to see how he ties his shoelaces.
Exactly.
Yes, now that's what I look at any teacher. If I'm looking at a teacher, he can be the cleverest monk in the world, and he can have a PhD, as they so often do in these countries, in Buddhism, and know the Abhidharma, the Vinaya, he can know the Tripitaka, he can know the Pali Canon back to front in 15 languages. If he doesn't represent to me how I want to be, or how I want to live, then it means nothing. This is just, it could be intellectual knowledge acquired in any subject matter and irrelevant to what we're talking about. It's how they are, how they come across.
That's exactly what I believe as well. Bhante, they have to have that, rather than speeches, they have to have that action by example, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, one of my greatest teachers personally that has, without being my teacher, but someone I associated with mainly whilst I was in Thailand, didn't speak any English. He didn't actually speak, he was Thai, but he didn't actually speak at all to anybody really much. But his actual demeanour, his practice and everything about him taught me more than anybody, any book or anything I've read or heard or seen ever has taught me, just by being around him. And many people who have met him have said the same.
The quality of your speeches, and if you can listen to the links I'm going to send you, but don't depend on that person, because it's a Sri Lankan man who lives in southern England somewhere, but I don't know, but I met him when I was meditating, but now he has done some videos exactly translated that the monk told us. So you could listen and get a bit of an idea about this Anicca Dukkha Anatta the way I understood.
Yes.
It might help, but other than that, we don't need to go after that man. Or I don't think he's not conducting himself, but it's again irrelevant for us. But the discipline and the things I've learned, it struck me. That's what I wanted to share with you, because with your knowledge and the experience and the English might help millions of those, especially in the West. Because I was searching for someone, kind of. There's no way, nobody's explaining this right Buddhism, the true Buddhism. I haven't seen anybody on the YouTube explaining in English, but the way now after I speak to you now, I can see how disciplined you are, and then the same here. I am a very disciplined man as well myself, so that's why it struck me quite a lot. And please listen if you have time.
I will do that. Yes, please send me the links, and then I can. So if you send the link by WhatsApp, then it's easier for me. If you send the link by WhatsApp, that's easier, I think, for me to how to make it
They're
work.
all in YouTube. Yeah, I'll put it on the. Once I send one link, then there are some translation on his YouTube channel, but you could leisurely watch some and then get some idea.
Yes, yes.
But in the meantime, when I go to Sri Lanka, but but now I know you, so I'll keep in contact with you. I'll message you rather than calling you.
Yes, yes.
You could ring me anytime, whenever.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Miranda. I won't bother you
so
too much,
glad,
but it's nice to talk to you.
I found you, Bhante. Thirvan Saranai, and
Thank you.
may
It's
the
now
blessings of
it's now just starting to get dark on my hill. So, well, it's not dark. The sun has. I don't know what the time is. Yeah, the sun's setting. So I need to just position my things around me because I sleep literally outside. No. Oh yeah, well yes, and so I have a candle. I don't like to use torches, apart from the fact that I think it just disturbs nature. You run your batteries down quickly, and your eyes do get used to the light. So I need to start positioning my things so that I know exactly where everything is. I've only have my bowl and my robes, but and tonight I brought with me a mosquito stick. Which I've lit because there were quite a few last night. It seems to be working. Yes, so nice talking to you.
If you have ever happened to change your phone number, please let me know if you happen to change. But you
that won't change.
Whenever you want, or please look after yourself. But I'm hoping to see you as soon as possible, really. But let's see. The hetu, if you have the hetu, then it'll be pala.
Well, please enjoy your practice and your family also with you, because it is it isn't essential to give up your family and become a monk. You can, if you've got the support of a Buddhist family around you, I think it's a very encouraging and very wholesome, skillful life to have. Us monks wouldn't be around without lay people, for sure.
My knowledge to my older daughter as well. She's 16, but she's in Ripon Grammar. You might know the area Ripon.
Yes.
In North Yorkshire.
Yes.
So she goes to Ripon Grammar, but she's a very clever girl. But she got the Dhamma, so I think she will hopefully follow me and wife as well. So
wonderful.
So we'll be hopefully. I'm hoping if she wants to come with us.
Yes. Good. Well, that's wonderful.
I'll let you go because your battery might go.
Yeah, so
look after yourself.
It's just going to get dark, so I need to settle for the evening. I've got some nice time now to meditate, and it's a clear night. There's a slither of moon left. I'll have the stars when the haze dies down, and another beautiful night.
I'm jealous of you as well, in a way.
You won't be at 4 in the morning when I'm all damp and very cold. But that's only for an hour or two before the sun starts to come up again. Anyway, it's been nice talking to you, Marindo, and yes, you keep in touch, all right?
I will definitely, Bhante. Will invite you to Sri Lanka. You'll find it very fruitful as well. The energy in that soil. So
great, thank you.
Hopefully, I'm hoping.
Good, thank you. All right, nice talking to you. Sukhi hotu. Okay, goodbye then. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Namo Buddhaya. Bye.